curious as if you practice magic.
So my great uncle was a magician, a professional magician, and his sister, my grandmother, was involved with this group called the Magic Gals. And the first time I rode on an airplane was we flew to Los Angeles to go to a magic convention. And so I was always kind of, I can't do magic myself, but I've always really liked that. And this kind of came about from me kind of like thinking of an idea for a magic trick.
So I just about how, like, you know, how a lot of people who tend to believe in fate, and it can really fuck stuff up in terms of finding a relationship versus other people who just kind of go with the flow. I was just wondering what your inspiration was based on this story.
I don't know, what was...
I mean, like, I don't know, she seemed, like, I don't know, like, how she seemed to, like, have an idea about,
Right.
like, you know, with the cards and stuff like that, and this kind of, and he kind of, like, stepped in and be like, hey, actually, I do like this movie, and stuff like that.
Right.
It doesn't always have to go with, like, the narrative that you see in the movies of how, like, things are meant to be, necessarily, and, like, so I was just wondering how you kind of came up with this story system.
Well, I think this is kind of two sides of the same coin. I mean, they're both approaching it from a different angle, and I think he's kind of trying to salvage the situation at the end. But you know, that's a good thing. He's, you know, trying to figure something out. We're finding common ground, I guess. But you know, people come from things from all different places, and I think that was the idea, is that they were both approaching something from two angles.
I think that I'm really interested in, like, juxtaposition to the other films that have sort of like this large span of space that they encounter. And your film is very intimate. Can you maybe talk about the intimacy of this single position, like this single perspective, this single coffee shop? That does seem like a very particular choice.
Well, you know, I think that I wasn't so sure. I'm an editor mainly, and this was our first stab at making. My wife Ann and I made this, and I was kind of worried about lots of locations and blocking and stuff like that. And so I just basically stole the shots from the opening scene of The Social Network. and made something with, you know, two people talking. And I like dialogue. So, you know, if we make something else, I think it'd be more. The movies tonight, I was really jealous of all the setups and everything. And we just made it in 2 consecutive mornings at a bar in the area, and so it was kind of I wanted to make it sort of ambitious from a dialogue standpoint, but just intimate from a, you know, standpoint of setups and just.
I don't know if you've seen this movie or if it was an inspiration for you, Waking Life.
No, I haven't.
It's very dialogue heavy as well. I was interested, like, even in this question that you just answered, like, a lot of movies don't focus as much as this one did on dialogue. Is that, what was your decision behind that? Like, is that something that you typically just, I don't know, I feel like you did a lot with just dialogue.
Right.
As opposed to, like, most films show, like, imagery and other things, but.
Yeah, well, I kind of approach it, besides editing, I've done a lot of writing, and I just approached it from the fact that my wife and I do just talk about crazy shit all the time. Just all fucking day long. and just put a lot of that stuff together, you know. And like I said, you know, I kind of wish I was more ambitious in terms of, like,
I mean,
And
you
people-
did a lot.
You don't need it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
didn't
really don't
that.
need it.
All right, well, thank you, George.
Oh.
Thank you.